Okay, so I wanted to show how to do some stuff with this new control called a list control. Now basically what I'm going to show is how to do this. Get an image in what's called the list view. The list view is a really good tool, allows you to easily customize the layout of, say, a product list or something. So let's close down this. And this, I'm going to show you first the end product of what we're going to achieve, which is list view object or list view control, which has the product name. We really don't have to have the image file name listed there, and a product picture. And we're going to be able to pan through the list of products. So the first thing we do, we're going to show step by step how to do this. First thing we do is go down to, let me shrink this. First thing we do, okay, sorry, is go down to the data controls and go to list view. That's what we're going to be using. So add some space to our design view, add the list view. Now I'll show you, I used this SQL source data. I'll just make a new one so you can see the steps to making the SQL source data. Picked a SQL database. I have my SQL database configured already, so select the SQL database that you already have configured. Wanted to show a list of products. All I really need is the name, and I need this database to also have the image file ID. So that is about it. Next, we're going to test query, see what it produces. Finish that. So it has the two things. So this data source bucket has two pieces of information from our database, Halloween database. It has the name of every product and the image name of the product. Also, what we had to do is, before we did anything else, is add to the image directory a products folder, and within that folder make sure to drop all the pictures that are listed in your database. And please note that the names of these pictures do have to coincide with the names, with the file names, with the picture file names which are in your database. Okay, so this source data, this data bucket, all it's going to pull from the database is the names of the images, the image files, the names of the image files, like rat2.jpg. And we give it the path to tell it where to pull this rat2.jpg out from, which directory to pull it from. So make sure you do that before we go on. We already, we already set it to SQL data source 3 because we create a new data source. Let's configure the list view now. And if sometimes, like if you're pulling up someone else's project, you won't have this configure list view option. You'll only have refresh schema at times, I found. And if you just push this refresh schema, it'll take you to the same wizard as this configuration list view. That's only if you do not see this configuration list view option. Okay, so let's go with tiled. And just do a professional look. Just, well, you can do any of these, just as long as you kind of see a box pattern, so you can kind of visually separate out the different items, products. And then we're going to enable paging with the next last first. And previous, click OK. I think got everything done there. So we have this now, but we want to add an image to an image object into each little square. Notice in grid view, and I think it was in data list and those kind of controls, data controls, you had an option called template. When you clicked on the template, then you could edit the fields, each individual field within this control. Well, ListView doesn't have that, so we're going to have to add these images manually. So, and that's not too hard, it's not bad at all. Just go up to your table and we're going to add an ASP object. Let me see. And to save time, I'm just going to copy and paste this right here. Come on. This image file. And then put it down into this box. So go to the top. You have all the code for this list box highlighted. Go to the very top and you'll start seeing the text which you see in the table cells. So here's name, the name of the file, then the name of the image file is going to come next, and then here's the ASP information for that. Then after that you're going to have your image at the bottom. Okay, so let me explain what's in this image. Now this isn't, if you didn't like that I copied and pasted it, it's not hard to follow how to produce this on your own. Just go up to the image in the standard toolbox, then you drag and drop. You already have half your code right there. You have the auto-generated ID, you have run at server, then you click your width. You can put it with or you don't have to put with. That's really unnecessary. You didn't even have to have this, so I'm just going to get rid of that. Of course, the last thing, as in any HTML coding, you'd have to have your image URL. Then this is where you'd actually have to know a little ASP code to know what to put next. The generic ASP data tag, and then you're going to say that you're going to bind this image to a particular file set. And now image file, this is the name of the column in your database that contains the image file names. So this says bind to the image file column in your database, and I want to get these images. Then you have to tell the image URL where these images reside, because the images themselves don't actually reside in your database. They are just kind of dumped into a massive, usually, a massive bucket or folder somewhere else, and then from that folder, then you can grab your images from it. But your images are never actually, at least as far as for this project, aren't a part of your database. The database is simply text that tells you where your images are, and kind of information about them, how they're sorted. So that's all you do. So we have them. We don't have to start from the C drive. It can be a relative path, because this file right here, this default.asp, is in the same directory as the image products directory is located. So it can be just a relative path, so that if you drag this project anywhere else, you don't break this link. It's nicely packaged. So image file, that tells the binder what column the to bind, what database column to bind to, and then this tells you where the image is located. So did that. Let's save and watch this refresh. So we got two pictures because I was demonstrating. So we can actually just erase this old one, I guess. So we got that. Let's see how it turns out. Now, if you notice, it's only on every other alternating cell. That's because if you wanted it in all cells, you would have to you'd also have to put the same text. You'd have to copy and paste this line of code down below here, right after the next image file. But we are not going to do that right now, since this is just for demonstration purposes. After this demonstration, you should understand how to add images to a ListView object. So this is not something we created. This is something we created. So this is what I was showing you in the first place with the image files, and these did not connect for some reason. So let's go back and see why these didn't connect. I must have messed up the, where did I put it? Image is. Dagum. I didn't type that very good. Images, products. Got it. Okay. So let's try this again. It always is very important to spell everything correctly. You didn't know that already. Okay, so let's scroll. Voila. So, got that. So it's kind of like going to like Amazon or something, and you're going to buy something, and you get to look at all the products that you might want to buy. Then, of course, below these, you'd eventually put some like a buy button under each one of these products. And so I think that's about it. Thanks.